social mobility. So first we need to understand that what is social mobility. Social mobility refers to the changes in the person's socio-economic situation or either in relations to their parents, intergenerational mobility, or throughout their lifetime, intergenerational mobility. In easy word, social mobility refers to the shift in an individual's social status from one status to another. This shift can either be higher, lower, intergenerational, or intragenerational, and cannot necessarily be determined if the change is for good or the bad. There must be some kind of a change and some kind of, it's a movement. So that movement is known as social mobility. So we categorize the social mobility into different parts. The first one is the horizontal mobility. So horizontal mobility is something that occurs when a person changes their occupations, but their overall social standing remains unchanged. For example, if doctor goes from participating medicine to teaching in a medical schools, the occupation changed, but overall their social standing likely remain the same. Everybody will consider him as a doctor. Doesn't matter if he is treating someone's or if he is teaching to into the class. So Sorokin described horizontal mobility as the change in a religion, political or other horizontal shifts with no change in the vertical position. So one political member, if the person, if the politician who changed one parties to another, okay, he changed his occupations, but overall their standing, he will still considered as a politician. So that is horizontal mobility. The other one is the vertical mobility. This refers to the change in the occupational, political, or the religious status of the person that causes a change in their societal position. For example, if somebody is a Hindu who accept now Islam, so that was if we talk about his previous status, he was a Hindu, but right now at the moment he's now become a Muslim. So an individual moves from one social stardom to another. Vertical mobility can be ascending or descending. Ascending involves an individual moving from a group into the lower stratum to a higher one, or the creation of the similar groups with a higher social position instead of side by side with its existing group. Descending mobility occurs, for example, when a businessman incurs losses in his businesses and is forced to declare bankruptcy, resulting in a move to a lower stratum of the society. Now, the other one is downward mobility. Downward mobility refers to the take place when a person moves from one higher position in a society to a lower one. It can occur when someone is caught performing a wrongful act that can result in the loss of the position they currently hold. Downward mobility can be extremely stressful for the people who faced a rapid decline in their social status. They may find it hard to adopt or to adapt to the new environment, as it is not similar to the standard of living they are used to. Downward mobility is an example of the extent to which a society values equal opportunity and the structure. The other one is the upward mobility. This is when a person moves from lower position in a society to the higher one. It can include occupying higher position in the same societal group. However, upward mobility, while seen as a good thing, can also come at a cost for an individual. When a person moves upward, they often need to leave behind familiar surroundings such as family and the places. They may also need to change their way of thinking and the behavior. The individual will need to adapt to the new environment as a result of their upward movement and adopt different behaviors in the new society. The other one is intergenerational mobility. Intergenerational mobility happens when the social position changes from one generation to another. The change can be upward or downward. For example, father worked in a factory while his son received an education that allowed him to become a lawyer or a doctor. Such societal changes also causes the generations to adopt a new way of living and thinking. Intergenerational mobility is affected by the differences in the parents and their offspring's upbringing, changes in the population, and changes in the occupation. Intergeneration change in the societal position occurs during the lifespan of a single generation. It can also refers to a change in a position between siblings. One way is when a person climbs up the corporate ladder in their career. For example, an individual starts their career as a clerk, throughout their life moves on a senior position such as director. One sibling may also achieve a higher position in society than their brother or the sister. Then we have a zero mobility. If the social mobility refers to the opportunities to change one's social class, then a lack of social mobility means the lack of such opportunities. Essentially, in a society with a low or no social mobility, people are likely to remain in the same class as they were born into all their lives. Then we have territorial mobility and the geographical. The territory social mobility is the change in the locality, territory, or the resistance when an individual moves from one place to another is called territorial mobility. The trend of territorial mobility is common in urban areas as compared to the rural ones. So that can happen, could be because of your education reason. You wanted to get an education, so you have to move from one place to another. Could be your economic situation, so you have another good income option, so that's why you wanted to change your place from one place to another. So that's become the geographical mobility. Here are some factors that affect the social mobility. The first one is the occupation. Occupation is a major source of intergenerational mobility at the current time. If we talk about the present time in Pakistan, social and the cultural values. Society as a whole may have a liberal or conservative value that hamper the social mobility. Then we have environmental changes. Environmental changes may provide for both upward and the downward mobility. Natural disasters and sudden climate changes lead to downward mobility. Timely raining, sport, agriculture, and allied industries in developing countries. The last one is the social movement. Social movement help in a collective mobility, that black rights movement in the US rights for the black community, or could be the feminism. So social mobility and equality of the opportunity can be measured in terms of earning, income, or the social class, but can also be understood to encompass other well-being dimensions such as health and education.